lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. met, and you haven't got me quite figured out yet. I guess I'll save you some time. I got more than just one side. These worn out boots and these scarred up knuckles are from too much fun and from too much trouble. I wouldn't blame you if you walked away, but I really hope you'll stay. Cause I got a wild side when I'm feeling just right. Hang on, cause it's gonna be a rough ride. Get the feelings that I just can't hide. When it comes out at the wrong time, I got a wild side, 10 feet tall and it's double wide. I get the feeling that you just might like to meet my wild side. Words, I put God and family first, but sometimes turning that other cheek is just too much for me. I know what you think you see when you're staring right through me. You might get a surprise, cause I've got another side. I got a wild side when I'm feeling just right. Hang on, cause it's gonna be a rough ride. Get the feelings that I just can't hide. When it comes out at the wrong time, cause I got a wild side, 10 feet tall and it's double wide. I get the feeling that you might like to meet my wild side. Scarred up knuckles are from too much fun and from too much trouble. I know we just met, and you haven't got me quite figured out yet. I guess I'll save you some time. I got more than just one side. These worn out boots and these scarred up knuckles are from too much fun and from too much trouble. I wouldn't blame you if you walked away, but I really hope you'll stay. Cause I got a wild side when I'm feeling just right. Hang on, cause it's gonna be a rough ride. Get the feelings that I just can't hide. When it comes out at the wrong time, I got a wild side, 10 feet tall and it's double wide. I get the feeling that you just might like to meet my wild side. I heard the preacher's words, I put God and family first, but sometimes turning that other cheek is just too much for me. I know what you think you see when you're staring right through me. You might get a surprise, cause I've got another side. I got a wild side when I'm feeling just right. Hang on, cause it's gonna be a rough ride. Get the feelings that I just can't hide. When it comes out at the wrong time, cause I got a wild side, 10 feet tall and it's double wide. I get the feeling that you might like to meet my wild side.
It was quite a race last week at Chicagoland Speedway, but we're going to be having another heck of a show here tonight. It is the new and improved Atlanta Motor Speedway. It is the Big Peach 200 here on Sim Racing Media. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. Alongside me, my broadcast partner, Liam Irving. And Liam, we saw a tour de force from the non-playoff drivers last week, leading all but 14 laps at Chicagoland last week. This week, this is going to be anyone's ball game.
It's going to be a lot tougher for anybody to get out and dominate like we saw any sort of last week. These guys are going to be running side by side for the most part through start to finish. I mean, these guys are not going to be able to get a break from each other. It's going to be a lot of fun here in Atlanta.
It certainly is. And really quick, let's take a look at the point standings coming into tonight's race. A couple of drivers, Alex Arilson and Angel Hernandez, should be locked in by the time this race goes green. They're over 40 points clear of the cut line. So once this race goes green, the 8 and the 45 will be in. But because nobody in the playoffs won last week, no one else is locked in yet. We still have everything to play for.
We do. That means nobody's safe. Everybody's going to have a little bit of something to worry about as we move forward.
Absolutely. As we'll flip on through the rest of the grid here, and I think we have somebody here that is ready to go. Ready to speak with us here. And Liam, I believe that will be the driver of the number 42, Joey Maines, who, after missing last week, should be the only driver who is in a must-win situation. So let's bring him up here. Liam, you are with the 42 car of Joey Maines.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Joey, it's Liam up in the booth. How are you doing here today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you guys?
Doing pretty good. Excited to be up in the booth for an incredible racetrack. Should be an incredible race, but you got a little bit of pressure on you here today. You missed last week. Obviously, that points differential, that's going to put you in a must-win situation moving forward here. Do you think that's something you can get done here in Atlanta today?
I think so. I've raced pretty good here ever since they did the reconfiguration, so I think I'll be able to work my way up to the front.
What is the strategy like now that we've got this new configuration? Obviously, the tire saving is no more. The fuel saving might be a bit more of a factor. What kind of strategy changes are you going to see?
With my points gap and being in a must-win, I definitely got to be a little bit more conservative, not take as many risks, try and just survive to the end. If I can, try and get a few stage points here and there to help out in case something happens at the end where people wreck out, and maybe I can be in a position to possibly point my way in, depending on how many stage points I get, but I'm probably going to have to win. So it's going to be a challenge.
You've got 5 tire set limits here, and that would have been a concern in the previous configuration, but
yes, definitely.
Well, before we let you go here to get qualifying started, is there anybody you want to shout out?
Shout out to my teammates. Hopefully they can help me move up through the field and have a good race.
Stuff, Joey. We appreciate you.
All right, take care, guys.
So that was Joey Maines, driver of the number 42 for Legacy Motorsports, and that certainly is a very tough position for him to be in there, Liam. In a must-win situation at a track like this, it's not going to be easy to overcome that.
No, it's really not. Like I said, you're not going to have a chance to get away from these guys. It's more super speedway style than we're used to seeing at Atlanta. So these guys will have a tough task up ahead of them if they're going to take home the checkers, any of them. But, I mean, to be in a must-win situation, going to be a little bit more concerning.
Yep, absolutely will be. But the best way to sort of ease those tensions is to get a good qualifying start, and that is where we are at right now in the qualifying session here for this race. As we'll take a look, there is the 45 of Angel Hernandez, who will be the first car out on track. And again, by taking the green flag, Angel will be clinched into the championship 8. Another thing to note that we saw in the second race in Atlanta this year, pit entry was all the way back in turn number 3. That is not going to be the case here, so these drivers are still going to have to contend with the pit entry being in the normal spot, pretty much coming off the banking in the middle of 3 and 4. So that can make it very, very interesting come the pit stop cycles.
Yeah, it certainly is. If we see green flag pit stops, it's going to be really tough to get off of that bank and get your car down to speed. There's not as much space as you have at another track, say like Charlotte does. You know, it's going to be tough on these drivers.
Absolutely will be. Here, series debutant Drew Hullman in car number 99, representing, what was it? That was Earnhardt's ride at Motegi, was it not?
Let's see here. Yeah.
Because I know it was...
Yep, that was the one that Daniel Suarez ran. Because Ross Chastain ran the Dale Jr.
Yeah, that was the throwback. Okay, yeah, so it was... Senior was in the red, Junior. Yeah, Senior was in the red, Junior was in the black. As Hullman up to second on his first qualifying run, but now more laps are starting to come in. Dominik Sawicki finished third in his first race, finished second in his second race last week. Only one more step up to go for car number 14. Gets a pretty decent start on his qualifying run, P1 right now.
He's trying to get out here and hit for the cycle.
Absolutely. Climb up those steps one step at a time, as Sawicki will effectively throw away his third lap to try to wind that car back up for a fourth and final go. Matt Mettler currently sitting in second. Franz Bretschneider, Jared McCauley, and Angel Hernandez, or make it Brian Chu, Franz Bretschneider, and Jared McCauley, your top 5, as the 11 moves up into third. Jeff Weimer, car number 2, gets up to the point.
For number 2 with a 31.09, quickest on the board so far. Running his third lap right now, sticking it to the bottom. We'll see if he can improve once again on this lap around. But a Keystone Light number 2 machine looking pretty strong here to start.
Now, one name we will see on the timing and scoring pylon towards the bottom is the number 23 of Michael Gervey. Gervey had planned on running this race, however, got called into work at the last minute. So since he was already in the session, he will not be able to join us here this evening, unfortunately. Fortunately for him, though, not a playoff driver, so not missing out on too much other than 135 laps of near heart attack racing.
A lot of that.
Yeah. Marcus Hagman, who was the fastest car in practice for quite some time, as Jonas Skoglund, car number 34, that paint will pop in there in a second, to the top of the pylon at a 31.08. We'll see what Hagman can do here in the number 5. Hagman 10th fastest, and he will stay there.
So far, so good for all of these drivers. Haven't really seen any incidents or anything like that. And looks like first place and 23rd place are separated by a 1/10 and a half. So with that type of speed,
it's not
or
close
that type
at all.
of parity, a 1/10 and a half?
Yeah, no, that's
and
not
a mile
close
and a
at
half?
all. Sarcasm.
In a qualifying time?
Sarcasm, but...
Oh, I missed out on that. I'm still trying to get my poop in a group here.
So that will be it for Daniel Holmer's qualifying session, as well as everybody else's. Let's take a look now at the starting grid here for tonight's race. Starting on the pole will be the number 34 of Jonas Skoglund, a 31.087, good enough to get his qualifying time up there. Jeff Weimer missing out on pole by 3/1000ths of a second. Dominik Sawicki and Matt Mettler will make up row number 2, with Angel Hernandez and Christian Delgado making up row number 3. Brian Chu and Franz Bretschneider in row 4. Jarrett McCauley and Daniel Holmer making up the top 10 in row number 5. Row 6 will go to Marcus Hagman and Justin Barkley, Drew Hullman, and Alexander Arildson in row 7. Row 8 will go to Rhea Ferris and Charles Robertson III. Gary May and Michael Iskander will make up row number 9, and Cody McCorkle with James Bowles will line up in row number 10, Liam.
To row number 10, Chris Van Maastricht and Rosa Laszlo in 21st and 22nd. Chris Smith, Linus Brostrom, rocking 23rd and 24th. And Danny Solo, Joey Burgee, William Britton, Isaac Wilson, Joey Maines, who we talked to before the race, starting deep in the field next to Brandon Hughes. Then Nathan Christensen, Bob Wyckoff, Casey Tomlinson, Robert Rowe, and Michael Gerby rounding out the field.
So that will be your 35 participants. A little bit more than half of the drivers not attempting to qualify here today. As we'll take a look at the weather conditions here for today's race. Just about 3 o'clock p.m. in sim time. 65-degree ambient temperature, 71-degree track temperature, 11-mile-an-hour winds on this day, blowing directly to the east. So, Liam, it is going to be a close day of racing, and that wind is going to make it all the more difficult on these drivers.
Yeah, what's that going to do when you try to set up into a corner? When you get up behind somebody, try to slingshot around them, and you got that sudden gust of air? That's definitely going to be an interesting factor for these drivers, especially running down in this pack.
It certainly is, and with the way Atlanta is configured, that is a crosswind blowing to the inside of these cars in turn 4. So coming off of turn 4 is where these drivers are going to be facing a lot of woe as it relates to that wind. And this is something we don't normally see on the oval side of things. Only half a pace lap these guys are going to be doing here tonight. Typically, that's something we see on the road side with road courses, bigger road courses especially. But here in the oval, it's usually a full pace lap starting from either pit road or from the start-finish straight. So we're waiting on a couple of drivers to jump on in. As Jonas Skoglund will lead the field down to green here tonight, as we are now rolling off, getting set to go green flag racing. And Liam, I personally haven't run too many races here on the new configuration, in the Cup car at least. I can't imagine it's going to be all that easy for these drivers today.
No, it's certainly not. You're going to have a little bit more speed and a little bit more drag than you would in, say, the Xfinity cars. Might be similar to the trucks without the power, but I'm thinking that the middle lane is going to be dominant. That's where we're going to see more of the passes be made. We've got 134 laps to find out as that pace car makes the hard left turn once again. The field is in the hands of Jonas Skoglund. Green flag is in the air. Here we go, baby.
Green flag is out. Jonas Skoglund getting a very nice push, as we're already under caution, it looks like.
Like an aborted start.
I think that may have caught everybody off guard a little bit. The half a lap start.
Might be right.
So we're going to re-rack and do it again here.
We are being joined by another one of our sim racing media commentators. Alan's joined us up in the booth. How you doing, Alan?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. getting ready to get this race started up here. Boarded start after the only half a lap of pacing. Didn't give ample time for all the drivers to get ready for the start. So the officials have elected to try that one again.
Yep, they're going to re-rack them and re-stack them, I guess, and do a complete restart.
So right now, we are going to lose a couple of laps here in this race because the race has officially gone green. Stage breaks once again are going to be at lap 40 and at lap 80 as we wait for the leader to pick up the field. And this is kind of turning into the jumbled up mess that we would expect from iRacing.
You know what I think happened is we had one of those situations where some of the cars were across the line when the caution came out and some were not. So they're being scored on separate laps, and that's going to get the field all sorts of jumbled up. Those cars that didn't get around the start-finish line are being told by iRacing to stay behind the pace car, while the cars that got past the start-finish line are being told to pass the pace car. So there's going to be a bit of a discrepancy there that we have to get figured out. But
so there's going to be a little bit of figuring out here that needs to be done. So we'll probably, I mean, with my guess, with how long this has the possibility of taking, we could go back to green flag racing about 6-7 laps in.
And I wonder if, I mean, obviously it's a league, it's not an official session. I wonder if they're just going to take the executive decision to have everybody who was told to pass the pace car come back behind it and then try to reset the black flag situation after that.
That would be my guess, as we're seeing Chicagoland right now. So not a full lap of official green flag racing has been run. As we now work out a timing and scoring error. Seems like half the field has fallen victim to this. As Alan, first of all, thank you very much for being on standby here. I made the mistake in not realizing it was actually Alan that was supposed to be with me here today. But thank you very much for jumping in and being on standby. Now, again, like I told Liam, I personally haven't run too many races here at the new Atlanta as we see the cars starting to make their way back around. It's definitely different, but how much more difficult is driving one of these Cup cars around here in Atlanta compared to the old circuit?
Well, the Cup cars generally drive looser anyways. I've actually done an official race here. I haven't raced too many times here, but they, like I said, they do drive looser, and the track's got a ton of grip, so you're gonna be planted in the track a lot compared to the old pavement where you're slipping and sliding. I think drivers that tend to want to drive their car looser love the old surface. Some of the drivers that like the tighter car love the new asphalt.
Tell you what, as they have delayed the start one more time here. I tell you what, I am a sucker for that old pavement. This new pavement is a lot of fun in terms of how you get to race people. A lot more close door-to-door, door-banging type action. But, man, I'm a sucker for that old pavement.
It certainly has a completely different feel. And, of course, that's what NASCAR was going for. They wanted that different feel with this racetrack. And, boy, they certainly got it. As... once again, one of the rarities in iRacing, the half a lap grid for these drivers kind of caught everybody off guard, created some timing and scoring errors. So now we're trying to to work through those, and we should be going green this time by. A couple of drivers have come down pit road, but looked like they may have started on pit road. Daniel Holmer and Robert Rowe in the 50 looked like they started on pit road. Matt Metler did one lap and then pulled off. He is done for the day, what it appears to be. And Linus Brostrom has been on pit road. He missed the start just as the 9 and the 50 did. However, he has not come back out onto the racetrack. So a couple of things to watch for there. All other drivers have stayed out on the track. I'm sure that is a league mandate. As now we should be getting set to go. 6 laps shorter than what we had expected today. Jonas Skoglund gets into the restart zone. Green flag is in the air. 134 laps here at Atlanta.
Look at that outside go here to start. Just 2 cars up there, but
Dominik Sawicki on the high side with Angel Hernandez pushing. You'll notice the different colors in the timing and scoring tower. The drivers in gold are drivers that are running for the championship. The 2 drivers in green, the 45 and the 8, have clinched their way into the next round on points by starting this race here today. So Angel Hernandez and Alexander Rilson don't have anything to worry about tonight. Kind of playing with house money, just looking for a win.
got to be the best feeling you can have, especially when you see what these guys are starting to do in front of you. They're fanning out a little bit. Noses are being poked to 3 wide, but we haven't quite seen a move up in this front pack where they're going 3 wide yet. And then, of course, that yellow or red line, rather, you're not supposed to pass up under there. So that's why these guys are getting down there, hugging it, not going all the way to the grass like you saw them doing Friday. That is your best friend, much like it is at Talladega and Daytona.
Qualifying, that is fair game. However, here
into the
race,
wall, the 10 gets spun. The save so far into the wall goes to 12.
Boy, everyone,
right front damage.
everybody kept it straight, though. We are going to stay green. And now, instead of naturally, we have a very unnatural split in the field, but a great job there by Jared McCauley, Allen, to keep that car from going completely around in the middle of the field.
Yeah, that was a good piece of driving by Jared McCauley, as he looked like he's going to lose the car, but he kept it straight, kept going in the right direction.
A lot of drivers having to go all over the place to avoid that one, as we'll take a look and see once again how and where that started. Watch the 10.
5 got up and scraped the wall. 10, I think, either got into the back of him and slowed up or had to check up to avoid hitting him. The car behind just didn't have enough time.
Unfortunately not. As McCauley now currently in the 11th position, so he didn't lose too many spots, just lost a lot of track position. And here at Atlanta, Allen, that could be a big problem.
Yeah, you can make it up in theory, but it's going to take you a long time to make it up. And you just don't want to fall behind in these races. These playoff races are so important that you just can't afford to lose that time on the track.
So Liam Cody McCorkle now finding his way up at the front of this group, 3.5 seconds back. I would assume it's just like Daytona and Talladega, where it's not all that easy to get back up to the front group once you fall behind.
They're not at all. These guys are getting to the point of, all right, let's single file up. Let's try to cut the air as much as we possibly can to gain as much speed. We'll be quicker than the leaders, and they have been by just a couple of hundredths each lap. These Toyota teammates, Cody McCorkle with the 20 of Robertson, working well together to push this pack forward. They're 3.6 seconds off of the race leader. They're 2.9 seconds off of 7th place, which is a side-by-side battle between Sawicki and Barkley. It's not easy, but these guys are definitely getting it done, as this top pack has now gotten single file once again.
So the lead group now single file. The second group is getting single file, as that's Justin Barkley on the outside line. A third group has also formed because of that incident. They're a little bit less friendly at the moment, as Chris Smith currently leading that third group. Rosa Laszlo in the 77. Casey Tomlinson, his Spire Racing teammate, out there on the outside, but starting to work its way back to center. As Daniel Solo, playoff driver, is in this little mess. Now Solo, by points, after finishing 5th last week at Chicago, the highest finishing of the playoff drivers, is not in the top half is not in the drivers that could advance. As a matter of fact, he's the first car below the cut line, and the reason for that is this series deducts 10 points if you are not in the driver team chat during the race. Daniel Solo was not, so he was docked 10 points for that.
Hard into the wall goes Joey Maines!
And that will be caution number 2.
A must-win situation. Oh, look out!
I mean, you just hate to see that for some of these drivers that this track has a ton of grip.
Like contact between the 7 and the 42, and I thought that hit was going to be a lot harder. The car doesn't look too bad, though.
Oh, that was all net code.
Yep, that was definitely net code. Definitely.
It does have the benefit of one fast repair.
Yes, does have the one fast repair, as everyone does. Really quick, just to finish my thought on Daniel Solo. Again, not in the playoff, not in the driver team chat last week, so that's a 10-point deduction. And you get another 10-point deduction if you're a playoff driver not in the chat. So he lost 20 points last week just because he was not in the driver chat.
This league takes their participation very seriously. You've got to be in with your team and abide by the rules. And it's just kind of an unfortunate cut and dry situation for him there as pit stops get ready to start.
A lot of drivers got dinged up by that last week, so it was not just him, as a lot of guys coming in for what appears to be fuel-only stops.
Yeah, there's no reason to take tires.
Alan, when you get at a track like this where the pavement is so fresh, you mentioned there's not much need to take the tires. How far do you think you can go on a set?
Honestly, I think you could probably go. Maybe I would pit at 100, or not 100, sorry, but maybe lap 50. I would split it up, maybe even pit at the stage breaks, wherever they fall at.
Stage breaks tonight will be at lap 40 and 80 here tonight.
Right through this first stage.
60% fuel fill here tonight, so these drivers are going to be coming in a little bit more often than they normally would.
Yeah, and I wonder how much being virtually wide open all the way around the racetrack is going to affect that fuel number.
I'm sure for drivers who are not named Jonas Skoglund at the moment, it's not all that bad not being out in front of the line.
Yeah, honestly, I would probably more than likely, if you can stay hooked up, you're going to use less throttle anyhow, so you're not going to consume that much fuel. The name of the night is going to be all about drafting, as these guys, it's like a mile-and-a-half version of Daytona or Talladega is the best I can describe it.
Yeah, and just
Alan, sorry, I was going to say, as Frank had mentioned, for everybody but that 83, it's pretty easy to save fuel. What kind of differences do you see when you're the lead car?
Well, you're more on defense than you are offense. If you're second, third, fourth, back on through the field, you're playing you're on offense. But if you're the 83 car, you're definitely playing defense all night.
The 4 car in the back there, that is Christian Delgado coming back out onto the racetrack. There he is in that Busch Peach number 4 machine. Two laps down currently at the moment. Is that Carr?
Sorry, based off of pit times, I don't think Joey Maines took his fast repair.
Not that bad an idea. If you could stay in the draft, may as well hunker down. As the green flag getting set to come back out. Jonas Skoglund in the restart zone. Green flag in the air. A poor start there for Brian Chu on the outside line. He is dead even with Jeff Weimer as they go through the first dog leg.
Big time lead for Jonas Skoglund up front. Jeff Weimer gets clear for second. The 45 of Hernandez clear for third.
And for Skoglund, this is not where you want to be. Unfortunately, Weimer going to the outside has the run of momentum as Weimer looking for the race lead. And he will take that race lead, and he will be that will just be the 15th lap in this round of the playoffs that a playoff driver has led. Non-playoff drivers again dominated last week as Brian Chu got that 11 all out, got that number 2 all out of sorts.
That was almost the worst spot to hit somebody. That left rear right on the bumper. You could really upset the car up in front of you. These things are so tough to save at these speeds. As you see now, Jonas Skoglund back into the race lead, under fire from Angel Hernandez. Oh, the 22 all the way onto the apron.
On board with the 13 of Justin Barkley. Trying to work through this mess, and you can hear there, Alan, a huge let-off going down the back straightaway, and again having to let off quite a bit here just to, one, keep it out of the back of the 11, and then also to keep it out of the wall.
Yeah, that's the only way you're gonna get around this place. Is when you're back in the draft, you gotta work the throttle. It's not like driving down the interstate, driving at Daytona, Talladega, where you can just stay in it. You gotta feather the throttle when you're behind somebody.
Jeff Weimer trying to push Jonas Skoglund back up on that high line. However, it is Angel Hernandez who is currently leading here at the front of the line. Dominik Sawicki, 2 podium finishes, 2 starts for car number 14. Finished third in his debut race 2 weeks ago. Last week at Chicago, finished second. Liam, only one more place to go for him. That would be P1.
He's trying to round out the podium like a baseball player hitting the cycle here. He's really showing off a lot of talent here in his first couple of races. And right now, I know it's early, but sitting in second place, he's showing some patience staying behind the 45. He knows he doesn't need to go out there and get the lead. It's not necessarily going to change his race right now if he takes the race lead. But doing a great job so far, sitting in second place, trying to get a little bit more separation with Hernandez and Robertson. That 22, Franz Brettschneider has cleared himself, almost cleared himself with the rest of the pack. Here comes Jonas Skoglund back up on the top.
Yeah, these guys have sorted themselves out quite nicely here. Up at the front, being able to break away. Now the group is starting to come back up as Brettschneider thought about making a move. Skoglund didn't give him enough room. As now Skoglund will go down to the inside line. He'll get in front of the 22.
Yeah, that caused a really big checkup on the inside lane, and now that 22 is struggling, Alan.
Yeah, this stage of the game, it's really not necessary to race that hard. I mean, right now you just want to make laps and, kind of figure out who you're going to go with in the later stages of the race.
See right now, Jeff Weimer in control of that outside line. Oh, a little bit of contact there between the 13 and the 38 of Chris Van Maastricht down there on the bottom. Seeing a lot of a lot of Coca-Cola schemes, pardon me, out on circuit today. We saw, of course, the 11. We got the 99, the 1 car also. Michael Iskander, there he is in his Coca-Cola machine. This, of course, being the home of Coca-Cola, some drivers deciding to break out the Coke schemes here tonight, and looking very good around the racetrack here this evening.
Well, if it was me, I'd break out a Pepsi scheme just to
Me too, to be fair. Liam, are we going 3 for 3 with Pepsi up here, or are you going to be the odd man out?
I'm going to be the odd man out.
All right, well, goodbye. It was nice calling the race with you then.
Coca-Cola is better. However, Wild Cherry Pepsi is better than Cherry Coke.
There you go. At least we got something.
Yeah, that's all you're going to get from me.
Right.
Now I will say this. I
Good.
will say this. I'm a sweet tea drinker right
Well, there you go.
now. Yeah, I've been
I'm
soda
sure-
free for 11 months.
Well, proud of you, man. I'm sure
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
Coca-Cola company has a great sweet tea. Or the Pepsi company, if you want to be like that.
I mean, I'm a Gold Peak drinker, so it's branded by Go.
I think that's Pepsi.
Riding on board here with Brian Chu. Just 10 laps to go here in the stage, as Angel Hernandez has been up front and controlling ever since the restart.
This is where if you're outside of that top 10, but in the playoffs, you want to try to figure out, is it worth it to go up there and get those extra couple of points? There are a lot of drivers that are not in the playoffs up in the top 10 right now. I think so. Obviously, the race leader is clinched into the next round, but you're not going to be losing a lot of stage points to playoff drivers, but you'd really rather have them, I would think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm the 14 or the 34 or anybody that's not locked in, you can play spoiler, getting those extra points.
Right now, no one's seeming to be all that intent on moving. Everyone seems pretty content with where they are. Top 21 cars are up here in this group. 3.5 seconds back is where you'll find Isaac Wilson, currently running in the 22nd position. This group, single filed out, 3.25 seconds behind. So these drivers trying to ride out the end of this stage here. Everybody else, they're running side by side, Alan, but no one's really pushing it here as the stage draws to a close.
Yeah, it's just still too early in the race to push the envelope yet. I mean, once you get to 10 to go, though, you throw that respect level out the window.
Two teammates of Weimer and Brett Schneider working together, the 22 and the 2, is that Keystone Light car, Liam, almost catching the wall. And we're seeing that a lot now. A lot of drivers really starting to push up in the middle of these corners, almost catching the wall, almost catching the car outside of them. That's not necessarily tire wear, that's just how this track tends to throw the car.
Well, and I wonder how much of it is tire wear, because we saw these guys come in to top off on fuel, and nobody took tires. They're running almost flat out for over 25 laps at this point. Obviously, we've got only 5 laps to go left in the stage. You're going to start taking these runs a little bit stronger. The tires are going to start gripping a little bit less. I'm not surprised at all to see these guys tightening up. And Frank, I've got to disagree. I think it's a little bit more tire wear than... Oh, Brian Chu!
Something that's so easy to do around Atlanta, Charlotte and Texas is just let that car drift a little bit too much coming out of that second dog leg and into the wall as you try to arch turn 1 as much as you can. That 11 car was almost guilty of it.
Right?
Yeah,
It's been
true.
14 years.
I'm surprised they called it Lowe's. That's old school. But
I've been watching old school races. That's why I got it
That's why I
stuck.
said it's been 14 years. Sorry, go ahead, Alan.
For 14 years. So, anyways, as the tires are on, as they get closer to the stage break, you'll see a lot of the guys adjust their lines actually, because you can actually enter just a little bit higher and diamond the corner like you do on a short track.
Been a fan of doing that, especially at a track like Atlanta where it's Well, it's certainly unique. At Atlanta specifically, you almost want to enter in a little bit wider, arc your corner, hit the apex, you slide up a little bit wider. Just don't leave enough so somebody can get below you. It's going to be the quicker way to run this racetrack. Tell you what, we got 2 laps to go in this stage here. Might be actually the white flag coming in this stage.
Yeah, it is. It's the start of lap 40, so we got 1 more lap to go here in this stage. There goes Charles Robertson looking to that outside line, the 99 of Holman, starting to work his way forward, trying to get that draft. A lot of drivers in a very, very close area. Holman now up to the back of the 20 of Robertson, but it looks as though Angel Hernandez is going to be free and clear. The stage 1 winner, Angel Hernandez, car number 45.
A run to the finish. Charles Robertson tried it up on the top side on that last lap. Almost had enough help, but yeah, great job by Angel Hernandez.
Just missed out, did Charles Robertson. Dominik Sawicki didn't have much of a place to go, and everybody else being very respectful here as stage 1 comes to a close. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You are watching the Big Peach 200 from Atlanta Motor Speedway, the final race in the round of 12 for the iSNF Cup Series. 3 more rounds to go after tonight. We'll take a quick break and be right back with more action here from Hampton, Georgia. Getting set to go back to green flag racing. Charles Robertson may not have won the first stage, but he won the race off of pit road. He is the one in control. Green flag back in the air. Lap 43 of 134 here at Atlanta. Top three got a big breakaway.
Ready for 5 car lengths separating them between the rest of the pack.
They're in the exact reverse order as to where they were in the first stage. It was 45, 14, 20. Now they have flip reversed it as Charles Robertson, blinking and all, out in front, as now Franz Bretschneider getting a nice little push from the 11 of Chu. Chris Van Maastricht in the 38. Going to get stuck in the middle, pushes Jonas Skoglund up into the outside wall. More sliding and slipping, but more saving. What a job.
Wow! I'm at a loss for words, but I'm going to try anyways. The 38 got turned sideways there, and about 19 cars should have wadded it up right there, but the incredible talent of this league proved otherwise.
Watch the number 38 here. He's going to get caught between taking the run and not. Tries to slot back down to his lane, realized he couldn't. Whew,
Should have been huge.
That's the second big one that hasn't happened here tonight. So now, much like the first stage of the race, we now have a break. Top 11 cars are up here in line, followed by a 1.5 second gap back to that Georgia Pecan number 38 Ford Mustang and the rest of the field. That damage on the back of the 19, that right rear quarter there. Alan, I would assume not going to do too much to disturb that race car?
No, it's crazy how they, it takes a little bit to get these cars to come around on you. It just takes a little bit, and you put a lot of wheel into it to keep it straight. So you really still don't want to push it in this stage of the game, especially this early in the second stage.
It's Bob Wyckoff there in the 78. Not sure if he got a bad bump or if he decided to bail out. But either way, he has now lost that second pack, which is now being headed up by the 9 of Daniel Holmer. Isaac Wilson in the 84 pushing him along. Alexander Ariltson with James Bowles on the outside pushing him along.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that 9's going to be the best guy to lead the inside lane right now. He's got a dent in the front end, and you see already 2 or 3 cars are able to get clear of him and get out in front. Almost the 10 is able to get clear of Homer, but not quite enough space this time around. Ooh, big move there out of Barkley.
It's like the 31.
Sorry, the 31 there.
Not sure who. That's Joey Burgee in the 31. Now Burgee is not on the lead lap in that number 31 Mountain Dew machine. He's currently running in the 31st position, 2 laps down. Burgee in as a substitute this week in that car. Running on the same lap now as Christian Delgado. Delgado 1 lap down. And
Joey Baines got big time loose there coming up off of turn number 4. He's able to keep it straight, but that's going to separate this pack up just a little bit more here.
There is Joey Baines, 42, right behind the 31. With the 10 of Jared McCauley to his outside. Another big push there. That's Daniel Solo into the back of the 38.
And the 38 did not like that field at all. He was a little bit audible on the radio. But look at this. As these top 4 have, or not top 4, but 4 guys have separated themselves from this pack. Now as they get single file, everybody is chasing down the top guys. And top 11 going to be more than that real soon.
Rhea Ferris in this group as well, and that number 12. She sustained a little bit of damage earlier on in that first non-big one. Take a look up towards the front. Dominik Sawicki now out in front with Marcus Hagman on the outside line. Jonas Skoglund there to his to the rear end of his car.
Berkeley stuck in the middle of 3 wide. Thought he was going to get up into the 22 of Brett Schneider just a little bit further back, but so far so good as they're still 3 wide.
That second group, or whatever was left of it, has certainly caught up to the back end of this group. There you see the 9 of Daniel Homer, who was the head of that group.
Oh, he scrapes the wall. That was a bit more than a scrape, but didn't slow him down much.
And now, with how tight these corners are, 3 wide in the middle is certainly not where you want to be, as you see Robertson bailing out.
And it might have been something to do with his connection. We saw a couple of blinks out of him right before that happened, but we'll keep an eye on that and let you know, because these guys are still 3 wide. Brett Schneider was able to get away from it, but Barkley still stuck in the middle. Justin Barkley not able to find any reprieve here in these last couple of laps.
Jumping on board Isaac Wilson, and Alan, I don't want to be middle of 3 wide at Daytona or Talladega. Here in Atlanta, though, where it's just barely wide enough to fit 3 cars, I certainly don't want to be in the middle of 3 wide.
No, you don't. That's a lot of turbulent air that you're fighting in the middle. You're coming up the drive real quick whenever you're 3 wide here. That's a lot of guys. They're going to try to make that high line work for these race cars.
Saw there just a moment ago just how quickly how quick the run up is on these drivers. When you get a run, that closing rate is rapid around this place. As now Marcus Hagman has gotten out in front, so Hagman and Skoglund have cleared themselves ahead of Dominik Sawicki, but maintaining that outside line, as the middle appears to be the place to be right now, Liam.
It definitely does. And to bring up Alan's point earlier, there is a lot of throttle control going on for somebody in this pack. It's almost similar to how old Atlanta used to be, with the way that you couldn't get all the way up on the throttle. Are completely different reasons now, but yeah, we're seeing a lot of great racing here as we are just getting close to halfway in stage number 2. Marcus Hagman holds out of the lead over Skoglund, but my question now is, how aggressive is Skoglund going to get? He's got a shot to dive it down to the inside and take this lead with what could be relative ease, as now they're rocking the middle side. Now Dominik Sawicki moves back down to the bottom, trying to get that lane going again. There's going to be 3 wide through the quad oval. The 8 car gets stuck in the middle. That's a Rildson.
Appears to be pretty content up at the front to just ride, as now even more cars have gotten into the fray, as that third group that we were watching a moment ago that was being led by the 31 of Joey Burgee has now converged on this lead group. So now we have a big pack of about 27 cars up here at the front. Only Robert Rowe, Gary May, and Bob Wyckoff are not a part of this big pack up here at the front. So everybody is here.
Everybody is here, and like Alan mentioned earlier, that turbulent air that you're going to experience is only going to get worse the further back you go.
Yeah, and that's when you want to start kind of looking around. You can always start looking for grip, and that's what these guys are doing. They're looking for grip. They're looking for a way to see if they can find something on either the inside or the outside.
Let's just take a listen here on this lap. We're riding on board with Drew Holman here in the 99. Let's just take a lap and listen to how much throttle play he's having to use, not just to keep the car in the draft, but also to keep it from drifting up into that outside lane.
Or into the car in front of him.
Boy, not much throttle play needed when you're making a charge on the outside, huh? What a run from the 99.
No. He's channeling his inner Dale Earnhardt.
Certainly is. Slots in line in front of the 11 of Brian Chu. But Liam, it's an incredible balancing act that you have to do around this racetrack. Of course, you want to be as fast as you can, but these cars are seeming quite pushy, especially when you get in the midst of the pack.
These guys haven't had a pit stop like they did in the first stage to kind of negate that, so it's only going to get worse as Brett Schneider gets up towards the wall at the start-finish line. It's only going to get worse as these guys progress on through the run. Got a caution coming in about 15 laps, but yeah, it is definitely going to be a balancing act for everybody who is not your race leader, Marcus Hagman.
The inside line now is the superior line, as Daniel Hulmer currently leading on that outside. Justin Barkley pushing, and Brett Schneider
around! Big crash down the front straightaway. The 6 is also involved. Major problems involving William Britton. Multiple cars. And Maastricht is in it. Delgado to the 15 Sunny D machine as well. That's Christensen. The number 1 Coca-Cola machine, I believe that's Iskandar. Rosa Laszlo as well.
It's one of the new interesting parts about this racetrack is because you can't go below that yellow line, the red line. It makes it very, very tight coming through the quad oval, and you can't go down and you can't go up the way you used to be able to. So it becomes a very, very abrupt portion of the racetrack that makes it difficult for these guys sometimes. If you're a little too late, just like Brett Schneider was there, you're going hard into the wall.
Yeah, that transition's pretty rough. You got to remember you're coming back onto the track.
And that was the exact same thing that we saw out of the 22 machine that last lap around. That quick switch through the dogleg just caught him off guard. He got up into the start-finish line wall. This time it bounced him further down into Rhea Ferris and turned him down into William Britton.
So on board with Chris Van Maastricht here. Gets in the wall and he gets turned by the 1 of Iskander. He's trying to bleed up to try to avoid that incident, and unfortunately led up a little bit too far. Let's take a look on board of Iskander here in the 1. Ooh, and Iskander got hit as well.
But we've had ourselves a lot of almost. This one was the big one that we've been fearing all day.
This is the first did it. Ooh, you just saw there off to the left, Robertson just barely getting involved in it. So that will be just our second caution for incident here tonight. Remember, we had the start delayed by about 6 laps because of a timing and scoring error off the start and then the stage break. So this is just our second caution for incident here tonight now, and I believe I jumped on you there.
Oh, you're good. I was just going to say that polar bear is one banged up polar bear right now.
That'd be the 1 of Michael Iskander.
One specifically is an endangered species.
I do have a question for Liam. Liam, how many speeding tickets would have you gotten if you got pulled over on the way home tonight?
Tonight. I did not get a speeding ticket tonight. Just so happened that the second half of my day fell through, so I got to drive home and make it back in time for this beautiful league, this beautiful race, and this beautiful restart that we're about to see with just over 10 laps to go in stage number 2.
So what had happened was I was expecting Liam to be here tonight with me. Didn't realize that Alan was supposed to sub for him, so I'm blowing up Liam's phone, wondering where the heck he is. And then all of a sudden, he replies, Alan's supposed to be with you. I'm like, oh, well, that would have been nice to know.
Yeah.
So now both of them are here.
Hey, no worries. No worries. I love jumping in on things like this. It's great.
Hey, we're happy to have you, Alan. We get ready for a green flag here. Marcus Hagman strong on the throttle, but that outside lane is staying together a little bit better than the inside. Great
start there from Hagman. Jumping right up to that outside line, getting in front of his countryman, fellow Swede. Jonas Skoglund, same thing. Daniel Holmer in the 9 there as well. Another fellow Swede. Justin Barkley in the 13 behind him. Believe it or not, with a name like Justin Barkley, he is not a fellow Swede. Ooh, Hernandez.
What a save. So far, so good. This is a tight spot at the track to have a slow car, but everyone gets through okay.
Very nicely recovered there by Angel Hernandez. Is a very familiar man pushing him now. That's Dominik Sawicki. Pushing behind in at number 14. Because now it's the Super Swedes, Hagman, Skoglund, and Holmer up front.
And you know Sawicki is no stranger to pushing somebody up front, but as you said, these Super Swedes are savage up front right now. Rocking a 1, 2, 3, and here comes Barkley up on the top side, trying to take away the spot from James Bowles.
Bowles looking to that inside line. Chu going to push that number 13 and the 11. Jeff Weimer coming up as well. Is now the 13 of Barkley on that shorter end of the racetrack, starting to make do, starting to make his way back up front. Chu still pushing. Daniel Solo up here into the top 10 for the first time tonight in that number 9, Alan. Or the number 9 spot.
Yeah, these guys are going to start pushing. Now that we're within 9 laps of the stage break, these guys are going to start pushing a little bit harder. We're getting to be, halfway, 10 laps away from, 9, 8 laps away from the end of the stage. You guys are going to start pushing. They're going to make moves they normally would not make. And you're going to see that it's going to be white knuckle rides from here on out.
James Bowles almost got pushed around down the back straightaway. Allowed to blend back in that number 43 for the Legacy Motor Club. As now, once again, the top 5 getting clear in that middle lane. It's seeming, Liam, like it is almost impossible to do anything with that outside lane when it gets formed up with people that know how to run it.
Yeah, and that's just the thing. DW always loved to bring up a word that he made up, coopetition.
Yep.
These guys are fighting each other every lap. They're trying to hold on to their positions. They want to keep their track position, but they know that the best way to do that is by working together, continuing to draft with each other, stay in line. If you guys stay strong, stay single file, it's going to be tougher and tougher for these guys to mount a charge on you. And the more you have in line coopetitionating with you, Mac into the wall for the 1 car, Iskandar. But the more cars you have in line cooperating with you, the easier the competition's going to be as you get closer to the end of the stage.
And I will tell you this, guys. Drafting is an art form. I mean, it takes a lot of discipline, it takes a lot of practice to be able to draft.
So, you brought up a phrase from Darrell Waltrip. I'm going to bring one up from Benny Parsons now. Daniel Solo, over these last couple laps, has been running so high and through these corners that he could go duck hunting with a rake. As Solo has been up against the wall about as tight as you can through the middle of these corners. Of course, now we're watching him. He's brought it down a little bit, but he's been right up against that wall, right where Jonas Skoglund was there just a moment ago.
Well, these guys are These guys are definitely getting feisty up here, feisty up in the front, starting to fidget for the race lead if we're going to keep on keeping on.
99 of Holman in the middle now. And series debutant.
That's a tough spot. The 14 of Sawicki was right up next to the wall, didn't have any more space to give, and the 11 was pitching up to the top of the racetrack. They're still 3 wide. This time, Joey Main's up on the top. Main's
that's
the guy Joey Main's the guy who doesn't have anything to lose really here. He's got to go out for the race win. Pits are closed, though. We got 2 to go to the stage.
That's a lot of trust as the 99 leaning all over the 42. That's a lot of trust around a racetrack like this, Alan, with a driver you've never raced with.
Yeah, if you want to do a trust exercise, get on iRacing and go to Atlanta and run 3 wide for about 10 or so laps.
Yeah. And Holman
down on the bottom side. They're starting to get squirrely 3 wide in the 3rd row. That gives the advantage up to the top side, Hagman. 1 lap to go for the 9 car down on the bottom. He's got the best shot at it right now. Coming up off of turn 2, it might be a different story.
He's got Daniel Solo and Alexander Arildson pushing him right now. Doesn't look like he's going to have enough as Marcus Hagman out on that outside line took control of this race here in the 2nd stage. He wins stage number 2. It is the 3rd non-playoff driver to take a stage here in the round of 12.
Everybody's coming out here to play spoiler, huh, Alan?
They are. And that 5 car Hagman, he was, let's quote Dave Moody from MRN, that he was 5 wide and hands in there.
Absolutely was. That's what it took to get the stage win with that number 5 Hendrick Carr's machine.
And with that, we will jump to our 2nd break here of the evening. 2 stages down, 1 stage left to go, and this time we'll be handing out a black and white checkered flag. You are watching the Big Peach 200 from Atlanta Motor Speedway for the iSNF Cup Series right here on Sim Racing Media. Getting back to green flag racing here. Final stage of the night. Green flag is back in the air, and it has been called back.
A little bit of trouble in the back of the pack as we were trying to get locked and loaded for this restart.
Carr's trying to get back in the right order after a couple of guys decided to pit. By the way, speaking of deciding to pit, Nathan Christensen in the 15 did not pit. He came into pit during the caution that he was involved in back on lap 65. So he is leading this race in the number 15.
Does he do that because he knows everybody's got to make one more pit stop from here on out?
Yep, should do.
May as well take the track position now if you're going to be in the same boat. Gotta wait for the pace car to get back up front so we can pull back off.
And that would be my guess. Strategy-wise, go ahead.
So if I was running this race right now, 104 laps, lap 84, I would probably pit at lap 105 or 110, and that would get me to the absolute end.
Lights are back on the pace cars. So we're going to take another lap around.
Question's going to be, can Nathan Christensen go that far? Now, there's no issue at all whether or not the 3, the 5, the 99, etc. can go that far. They all came into pit here under this stage break. Christensen came into pit 15 laps earlier, and with a 60% fuel fill, it might be stretching it for that car. However, these caution laps here, these extra caution laps, are helping him.
Yeah, they're certainly not going to hurt. A couple laps at a quarter throttle in a high gear. Save yourself a little bit of gas.
Yeah, you're going to have to. You could, in theory, make it to the end if you're really saving.
Problem with that is you probably shouldn't be up front if you're in big-time saving mode. And that's exactly where Nathan Christensen finds himself in right now. He finds himself up front.
And the other thing, too, is did the guys behind him go into the pit lane, or is he going to be a sitting duck?
Yep. That will be another thing to worry about. It's Christian Delgado, speaking of being in the pit lane, he is in the pits right now. Charles Robertson 1 lap down in the 26th position. Rhea Ferris is 25th, the last car on the lead lap. Michael Gervey did not start this race. Again, got called into work at the last minute, so work took precedent. Not sure about that personally, but hey. As Nathan Christensen will now take over once again, and this time we will get this race started. Into the restart zone they go. Final stage is now officially underway.
Yeah, the 15 car did not get the jump that he wanted to. As you see, the 5 car of Hagman got it. He's on the back bumper, and I feel that the Christensen's a sitting duck right now. Just see the 13 car on the outside he's taking the 99 with him in the 14.
Outside lane is definitely hooked up better than the inside right now, but there's Sawicki. Poked his nose towards the middle lane, didn't commit to that. That's going to put the 13 clear out in front. 15 of Christensen down on the bottom. Still nobody in front of him to take away that, or to give him some draft, take away all that throttle he's going to have to use. But here comes the 99. He's going to try to go to the bottom side, touches the inside, that inside line there, the red line.
Barkley going to try to play both ends against the middle here, as he'll go to the inside line to block Drew Hullman, as that will leave Dominik Sawicki leading the outside line ahead of Marcus Hagman. Top 6 drivers right now are currently non-playoff drivers. Top 4 finishers last week in Chicago were non-playoff drivers, including the 2 stage winners, as Barkley Remaining in full control here of this race for the moment is Sawicki now jumps to the bottom line.
Be all over the rear bumper of Barkley right now. They've got a couple of car lengths up ahead of third place, Alan.
Yeah, so Barkley he's making his car about 4 cars wide right now. I mean, it looks like a Chevy Camaro as you're riding along with Sawicki, and Barkley is making his car look 4 times wider than it actually is right now.
Oh, hard into the outside wall goes the 5 and the 2.
Major problems up front. That's the big one. Everybody's in it.
That's the bigger one.
That is the huge one. So Hagman was looking to the top side of Barkley, and there just wasn't enough racetrack. He and the car behind him slammed into the outside wall so hard that it launched back down into Sawicki. Everybody just came right back up the racetrack. Thank goodness for fast repairs, but I'm not sure who has any left after that last crash.
Saw there right at the last moment. That 13, again, mentioned he was trying to play both halves against the middle, trying to block and control both lanes. And unfortunately, let's take a look and see what happened here with Hagman. Apologize about the stuttering there on the replay, just with the amount of cars in the session. That kind of tends to happen.
It's okay, Frank. We've had that stuttering in the booth from your counterpart over here.
Thank you.
Up in Minnesota. So
here we go. There's the 13 just trying to get to the outside to block. And that was Weimer in there as well. And there goes everything else that happened.
Field.
See glimpses of the 20. There's glimpses of the 78 of Wyckoff in it. I mean,
I think the only one who wasn't in it was the 13 up front.
Here's Weimer. Weimer was following. And again, the 13 is just going to drift up to try to take that run. And a combination of not hitting the 13 square and with just how awkward.
Go on board with the 31. This is about to be a whale of a job getting through a crash by number 31. That's
we'll
Joey
see
Berge.
see how long we can see it for. Berge well in the middle of the field here. Yeah, but again, just a combination of not hitting him square. Well, he got through.
That was an avoidance right there. The seas parted for that man.
Well, from what we saw with Joey Berge, that he went through a phantom, apparently, is what happened. Good.
Since we're quoting, I'm going to quote Hall of Famer World of Outlaw announcer Rick Elsherman, saying there's a few fun meters that have been begged.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, to finish my point here with Barkley, it wasn't necessarily a late move, but just a combination of one, not hitting the 13 square, and two, with how narrow it gets coming out of the dogleg into turn one. It just they had nowhere to go.
Pretty much. I mean, it seemed like Hagman was trying to get his nose up on the top side, and, you know, if it was more of a sweeping tri-oval, like a track like Chicagoland, Las Vegas, that would have been A-okay, but as you mentioned, those points just get so tight on this quad oval because there's such hard turns, and we're trying to take up all of this space going 3 and 4 wide. But not even in that case, but just not as much space as you'd like to have here right at the front straightaway.
Just our third caution for incident here tonight on lap 93 of 134. We've had a caution called, a formation lap caution called, shorten the race up by 6 laps. The 2 stage breaks and then one extension, one caution extension. So It's been a busy night here in Atlanta. Fortunately, though, many of the drivers still out on track.
Car's made that hard left turn. Alan, take us away.
All right, you got Barkley on the loud pedal as he takes him down into the tribal and off into turn number 1. He's going to take Solo with him.
Daniel Solo gets a very good jump. Solo down to the bottom. Jonas Skoglund, Marcus Hagman there as well. That leaves Barkley out all alone. And Liam, I'm not really surprised by this because once you make a move like that wrecks the field, not too many people are going to be all that willing to jump in behind you.
No, and we just saw a big shot from the 99 into the back of the 13. You got to wonder, was he trying to push him into the corner or was he trying to send him a message? Now he's going to move up to the top side of Cody McCorkle, but the top 3 have gotten away just a little bit by about 3 to 4 car lengths over 4th place, which is still Tristen Bailey.
Yeah, you got Solos, Skoglund, and Hangman working together. And there's 3 Chevrolets, so don't be surprised to see manufacturer teams working together also.
And 2 Hendrick cars up here at the front with Solo out in front. Daniel Solo can lock himself in. Remember, he was on the outside looking in.
Here comes the 99 of Holman trying to fireball into the race lead. He's got it down on the bottom, but here comes Solo back up top to fight. He's got it by about half a car length.
13 of Barkley giving a nice little shove, as well as the 10 of Jared McCauley. We saw him almost wrecked earlier on today. Rhea Ferris up there as well, and 7th in that number 12.
Rhea had trouble getting her car fired earlier on in the show, being up in the top 10 now. 7th place, looking for more here as she's on the inside of Hagman. What a run by that commanding boss lady that we have here from the iSNF.
Watch out, about to go 3 wide here as Angel Hernandez works his way back into this pack. He was a part of that last track. Look at Solo and Holman banging doors down through 3 and 4.
We got a
wreck in
crash
the back.
in the front straightaway. It seems like they might have been able to save it so far. No caution, but big time sideways out of the 31 machine. Caution has come out. Joey Burgee. So one of one to get sideways there, but I believe maybe William Britton and Nathan Christensen's got himself some damage here too, and William Britton. So we'll take a look at that.
Yeah, we'll take a look and see. It's
But
definitely Joey Burgee.
Yeah, Joey Burgee was in that one.
The 77 machine might have gotten up into the outside wall and come down.
That might have been who it was. I was thinking it looks like the 15, same color scheme at least. Take a look and see here. And Burgee tries to split the middle, 77 into the wall. Around goes the 2 of Weimer as well.
Weimer got a piece of that. He must have come back up into the 6.
No, I think the 6 was well ahead. I believe that's what causes the caution there. Is the 2 of Weimer and the way he rolled back up onto the racetrack.
Yeah, I agree with you. And a lot of that also being aware of your surroundings on the racetrack.
Good number of cars coming in, led by the race leader, Daniel Solo in the 24. I want to take a look at this once again because I think these two may have gotten the wrong idea about what was going on that lap. Solo and Holman. Now watch these two. The 45 of Hernandez is up in front of these guys. No contact here. A little bit of door-to-door there. But now Solo needs to come down to clear the 45, and you can see there's another nudge that I'm sure the 99 doesn't like. 99 pushes up, and then the 24 comes back down. So I think there may have been a little miscommunication there between the 24 and the 99, but boy, it made for a heck of a show.
Yeah, I think they're going to be exchanging more than recipes after the race here.
It's a little misunderstanding in interpretation.
Yes. So I think a lot of these guys made a good call by coming down pit road. Go ahead and grab those tires and get ready for the last. Go ahead and get ready for the end of this race because it's all. Take the gloves off. It's no holds barred from here. It's gonna be it's gonna be better than a steel cage match in the WWE.
So we have passed the century mark as we are going to get set to go green here with 33 laps to go. Drew Hullman, series rookie, out in front. Jared McCauley will take the outside line here. Dominik Sawicki and Bob Wyckoff in row number 2. Michael Iskander will line up in 5th. Everybody else behind them either went fuel only under this caution or 4 tires. The first of the 4 tires is the 13 of Justin Barkley, who's running in the 13th position. The 24, the 8, the 34, 42, 19, 48, and 5 all went fuel only, as did the 6 and the 84, who were the last 2 cars on the lead lap in P17 and 18.
Obviously, that last crash took out a lot of guys, Alan.
Yeah. So these guys, we're going to set up for, this 30, 34, 33 lap shootout here. And I think that 99, he's going to get a jump on the rest of the field there.
Lights back on the pace car, so we will go back around one more time.
Yeah, I don't think race control liked what they saw in the field. Maybe some guys are out of line. They got to get these guys back in line.
This will give Charles Robertson and Robert Rowe a chance to come down pit road. Same thing with Justin Barkley. Top off just to make sure they're good to go the rest of the way. Looking back through the field again, Michael Gervey not making the start here tonight, running in 35th. Matt Metler done after 1 lap. Linus Brostrom done after 2. James Bowles done after 89. Rosa Laszlo done after 95. Everybody else still on the racetrack, so we still have 30 of the 34 drivers that we had started today with still out on track, only 18 on the lead lap.
Yeah, and you hate to see those DNFs happen for these guys. It's always tough to have that happen. A guy like Michael Gervey didn't get to start, James Bowles, Linus Brostrom, Matt Metler. I was really looking forward to seeing what he was going to be able to do after such a strong qualifying start. But, here we go. We get set for 31 laps to go, 32 laps to go at the restart. Alan, why don't you take us away?
All right, so you got the 99 car and the 10 car. The Coca-Cola can's going to bring us down to the restart box. As the 99 car is going to be on the loud pedal, and we are green and racing here in Atlanta. And he's going to take the 14 car Sawicki with him off into turn number 1. Everybody's minding their P's and Q's. We're going to get through turn 1 nice and easy. Nice and easy.
He's staying with that 99. He's trying to get all up on his rear bumper, push him forward, trying to get home and into the race lead comfortably. I wouldn't be super comfortable if that was all up on my rear bumper, though.
Sawicki has been a fantastic pusher here tonight, and once again, playoff driver Daniel Solo up on that outside line. He was the first of the playoff finishers last week. He's the first of the playoff runners here thus far tonight, as Holman sliding up, trying to play both lanes. We saw what happened last time. Almost gets turned into the outside wall down the back straightaway.
From Solo, he was staying on that bumper to get the side draft into the corner, and he got it. Now he's up on the top side. A big push there from Sawicki, gets the 99 sideways. That's going to put Solo and Arilton up top. And look at Joey Maines up in 3rd place in a must-win situation. 30 laps to go, has found himself in third place. What a drive, as we've got one up into the wall coming up off of turn number 2, Alan.
Look out, you got Chevy. 4 Chevys in the top 5 and 1 Chevy down low. No help for Holman. And looks like Solo is riding off into the sunset, checking out with the 42 car, and he's look now the 19 car is coming too. He's trying to get a hold of it, trying to get on the inside line and make it a party with the Toyota.
Down in front of the 99 of Holman, trying to make it a party, like you said there, Alan. He's really trying to play spoiler up here for the non-playoff drivers, as even he gets a little bit loose there coming up off of turn 4.
It's Cody McCorkle down there in the 19, now leading that bottom lane, as Daniel Solo pushing strong. Again, for those of you maybe just joining us here towards the latter stages of this race, drivers in gold on the timing and scoring pylon are the drivers that are still running for a chance at the championship here in the round of 12. The 2 drivers that are currently in green, Alexander Arilson and Angel Hernandez, both of those drivers pointing their way into the next round by starting this race here tonight. Last race of the round of 12. Round of 8 starts next week at Auto Club Speedway.
Yeah, you got Solo and Artisan trying to separate themselves from Maine and Chicagoland, and look out. I've heard there's a band called Save Ferris, but Ferris is running in the top 10. So look out for Ferris on the high side.
She's 5th car up on the outside, and they've got a massive run. Cody McCorkle down in front of Holman, trying to get something going on the inside lane, but you're right on board with Rhea Ferris right now, staying true to the outside, getting a little bit of a run coming up off of the corner, especially over the lead car, but not quite enough to get her up next to Cody McCorkle or cleared as these guys enter into the corner. It's just a bit too much of a checkup on the top side. Puts the 19 car right up next to the 42 of Joey Maines down the front straightaway. Things are heating up here with 25 to go.
Rhea was 4 points out of the playoffs coming into today. Wouldn't this be one heck of an opportunity to get her first win in 132 starts here in the iSNF Cup Series?
And that inside line, it's coming like the Polar Express right now.
One heck of a run as Cody McCorkle down there. Gets a little bit of an odd bump there from Holman, as now 3 wide. There goes the 10 to the middle, Liam.
And I'm sure he wasn't expecting to go there. He was hoping to stay in on the bottom, but things got kind of squirrely down that front straightaway. Cody McCorkle holds on to the position, but the 10 car of McCauley has to move up to the top side, loses a couple spots. Probably the best way that situation could have gone for him.
Yeah,
and
you got
shaking up down the front stretch, Alan.
And you got a Solo riding there on the top side, and McCorkey is almost as annoying to Solo as the Bumpus' dog.
It's McCorkle getting one heck of a shove there from Holman in the 99. And that 99 car making his debut here tonight in this series. Daniel Solo out in front getting a friendly push. May not be a teammate, but a fellow countryman in Alexander Arilson. Joey Maines there as well.
If I'm in a race at Talladega, Daytona, or even here at Atlanta, and there was 2 people behind me, based on what I've seen so far, it would have to be Drew Homan and Dominik Sawicki. Those have been 2 of the better pushers that I've seen all day. Being able to get right up there, push a guy up to the front, but not wreck him. They've gotten close, I'll give them that, but these guys have been phenomenal in terms of their pushing so far. And as we get down to the last 20 laps here, that type of push is going to be vital for a driver who wants to win this race.
Dominik Sawicki's in an interesting spot there in that number 14, because he has, had a non-lead lap car. That's the 31 of Joey Burgee. He's racing that number 9 right in front of him to try to get back on the lead lap, as, that's the 7 getting kicked out of Casey Tomlinson.
Able to recover A-OK, gets back into it. A little bit of contact up front between the 31. Racing for that lead lap position, trying to get the free pass. But yeah, the 7 car able to get away A-OK as we look back up to the front. Cody McCorkle with these pushes from Drew Homan and Dominik Sawicki just behind him. Really making up time on the inside lane, but every time they get up there, just a bad bump or something gets them a little bit swirly, and they lose that track position.
Yeah, to your point, that inside line, it comes and it goes. It comes and it goes. It seems like they make a little bit of hay, get up there next to slow, and then the outside line just inches forward just a little bit more.
Riding on board here with Cody McCorkle, who has a clear view on that inside lane. And as a driver, Liam, that's got to be so frustrating. I've got clear track in front of me. I just cannot for the life of me, as he gets a big push there for the 99. You saw how much he wiggled there on that onboard. I've got clear track in front of me, but I just can't make that push to get me up towards the front.
No, you can't, and there's too many cars up on the top side to go up there and try to side draft and pull guys up to you. You know, it's easier to do when you're on the top side. And that would be another frustrating factor for me if I'm the 19. I would personally rather be on the top side where I can pinch somebody down, as you see the 41 get up into the wall and recovers okay. But I'd rather be up on the top side where I can pinch somebody down and make them have to let out of the throttle versus be on the bottom side, lose out on that momentum. Well, you see just how much that 19 is having to work at it and how little time he's gaining.
It's Brandon Hughes there in the 41. It's the first time we've seen that number 41 car out on track for the better part of a month, as Masal, the normal driver for that car, has not been here, unfortunately. As Rhea Ferris almost into the wall. She is into the wall. And a little bit of a spin. There they go. Caution's coming out.
That's a tough break for Rhea Ferris.
And she is not happy on the radio.
I'm sure.
Trying to get into a little bit of radio chatter myself. I can't understand very many words, but there were a few expletives that we're not going to go ahead and repeat here. A lot of damaged cars, though.
It's Isaac Wilson completely torn up. That 84.
Man, tough break for Isaac Wilson. He was more than likely a victim of being in the right place at the wrong time.
It's like we talk about so often here in this series. Sometimes you find yourself doing everything right and still end up wrong. So we'll see. There's Rhea. Already got hit there. And then once again, just everything goes on me.
It'll be interesting what happened with the 41 leading up to that. Oh.
Yeah, there you saw the contact there. It's the 84, the 9. Ooh, there's
That's
a hard
why Rhea
hit.
was upset.
It's the 4 of Christian Delgado getting into it as well. Ooh, and there's some more to it. I believe the 21. Yep, there's the 21
A break type
of
situation.
Chris Smith getting into it. Let's see this again here from the start line. Just at 41, we're going to see it from a lap ahead. 41 had nearly gotten into the wall a lap before. Now just about gets into the wall here.
He's going to get a run down to the inside as well. And I'm
again,
curious to see if he gets
he's
pushed
not
up
on the
into
lead
her.
lap.
That's right.
Gets to the middle, gets to the bumper, then gets to the middle, hits the 99, goes up into the 41, and then that's the rest of it.
Yeah, that's
Kind of seemed like he was in a hole that closed up. Alan?
Yeah, that's that turbulent air that I was talking about earlier. It really upset the car, and it looks like he just got into the 99. And after that, it was pretty much a pinball game after that.
And you can definitely understand why Rhea's upset. She's on the outside of the playoff picture looking in. She was running in the top 10. and then effectively gets turned by an overzealous lap car in Brandon Hughes.
Yeah,
I
as a
don't think
driver, I would be so frustrated with the way the lap car was racing. I mean, granted, the lap cars are racing for something too, but I mean, there's more at stake for the playoff drivers in this situation.
it's just kind of it's one of those deals where if there was a bunch more situational awareness, things would have gone better. But everybody was racing for their own spot, racing for their own thing. 41 had the 31 right behind him. That was the free pass battle, and I'm sure he was thinking, if I can get a car or two in between me when that caution comes out, I'll be perfect. Was not expecting to be the caution that came out. Tough break all around, and yeah, to see our playoff drivers end up getting hurt by that, definitely not what you want to see if you're rooting for them.
We have a dozen laps to go when we go green here. Daniel Solo has elected the inside line. 14 cars on the lead lap. And of those 14 cars, only 5 of them are playoff contenders. Daniel Solo, Alex Arilson, Joey Maines, Cody McCorkle, and Charles Robertson. Joey Burgee will be fighting with Jeff Weimer to get the lap back if we get another caution. Green flag is back in the air. A good start there from Daniel Solo. And wouldn't you know it, he jumps right back up to the outside.
Yeah, Anderson has helped him all night. You don't want to stray away from the people that's helped you out. Solo did take the inside, and that, I think that was a smart move.
Well, Alan, I'm not shocked to see him jump up to the outside, but to see how close they were all to the wall coming up off of turn number 2, as now we've got big moves through the middle, contact between the 99 and the... Oh! Around goes the 10 and the 14 of Sawicki. We've got another big crash.
Caution is going to come out again. Drew Hallman. This time, the first time he's really taken a step in the wrong direction all night. Jaron McCauley going around. Dominik Sawicki, his run at a win will come to an end. And that high point, number 14.
I mean, you just hate to see that for these drivers. They had so much on the line today.
Well, let's take a look at this one. We saw how aggressive Hallman was getting coming out of turn 4. There he is, 3 wide, makes some contact with the 14, and then just right into the left rear corner of the 10.
Well, I tell you what, if you're trying to make friends in a league, wrecking 2 guys on the same team is not the way to do it.
No, it is not.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you're not really racing for points, it's pointless to be that aggressive, especially late in the race when there's playoff implications involved.
Well, I want to play devil's advocate. It's not pointless because you're still racing. You're out on the racetrack. You're going for every position that you can. You're trying to win the race. He's on the lead lap. He's going for these positions. Might not have been the best way to take it, or might not have been the best hole to go. I don't know. Obviously, we're looking at cars that are torn up, and Holman is also torn up as well. So, not like he was a benefactor here, but it's his first race here. What better way to show that this league is, or to show that you're willing or worthy of being in this league, than to show up with a win, or to show up with the top 10? I don't know.
You've been running well all night. As we saw on boards there from the 13 of Justin Barkley and the 14 of Dominik Sawicki. Now that will leave just 11 cars on the lead lap. Daniel Solo, Cody McCorkle, Alexander Arilson, Joey Maines, Jonas Skoglund, Marcus Hagman, Bob Wyckoff, Gary May in the 48, who was also a part of that Michael Iskander, Charles Robertson, and Joey Burgee, the only drivers currently on the lead lap.
Yeah, things definitely shrinking in terms of lead lap cars as more and more incidents happen here.
Well, now we're looking at a completely different race than we saw earlier. And I think McCorkle is going to be a force to be reckoned with if he can get the right pushes.
Got a good run there to get himself up from 4th to 2nd there just before that caution came out. Playoff drivers occupying the top 4 positions. The 8 car is good to go into the round of 8, which will begin next week at the Auto Club Speedway. Auto Club and Talladega, 2 100-lap races will make up the round of 8 before we go to Kentucky Speedway on the 16th of December to close out the season with the Bluegrass 200 at Kentucky to crown a champion for Season 6.
And go ahead, rejoin. Getting ready to rock and rumble here with under 10 laps to go. We're going to have 7 at the restart. Danny Solo leads Cody McCorkle for Alex Haraldson on the inside as well. Joey Maines up here in a win to get into the next round situation. You know his aggression level is going to be high. And of course, Marcus Hagman, Jonas Skoglund, who started this race up front, led majority of that first stage. We've got ourselves a blast coming our way. 7 laps to go. The pace cars made the hard left turn. Green flag back in the air, and Solo with a strong restart.
Joey Maines gets the advantage there, being behind the leader on the restart. Marcus Hagman trying to give him a push up there as Arilson tries to push Cody McCorkle, and then Toyota Camry down on the bottom. And right now, that 8 car is giving the 19 one heck of a push up to the front.
Yeah, McCorkle's coming like a freight train right now.
Is it going to be enough, though, against this 4-car group up on the top side? Now you've got a third helper in the 78 on the bottom. Bob Wyckoff, somebody that we saw way... Oh, and Danny Solo sideways from Joey Maines.
Keep it straight, though, so the 24 is only going to lose a little bit of track position.
Same with Joey Maines. He's got to win this race to get in. The aggression level is high for him. 5 laps to go at the line.
I wouldn't say, by looking at that did not look intentional to me. It looked as though the 24 drifted a little bit more than the 42 thought. Gave him the bump and almost turned him, but right now it's Cody McCorkle down on the bottom, leading the way with 5 laps to go.
You want to turn this top 3 or 4, you want to stay single file, anyone behind that, you've got to try to get everything you can. But there's a discrepancy when you get side by side, you punch a bigger hole, you side draft each other, and you're going to fall away. This is a real tough spot to be in. This is a chess match here for 4 laps. It's going to be 6 miles, Alan.
And go ahead. I was going to say, I'm finding it very interesting now, Alan. They're not running the outside lane. They're content with the bottom.
Yeah, I think that outside lane has gone away, but you're going to see the 8 78 of Wyckoff go by themselves here on the last lap. I think they're going to pull out of line, and they're going to leave McCorkle hanging out to dry.
And I think they're just going where the leader is. That's where the first hole is punched in the air, and they're sticking with it. But I think you're right. Once we get to the white flag, if they stay single file, watch for that 78 and the 8 to get together. Some Chevrolet teammates. That could be the move to win the race.
Cody McCorkle was 9 points to the good coming into this race. Alexander Arilson locked himself in by taking the green. Bob Wyckoff, as you can see there on the graphic, looking for his first win here in the iSNF Cup Series in his 106th start. 2 laps to go as here comes Robertson to the outside.
Robertson up top with no help, but Joey Maines, he's got help from another Legacy Motor Club car. That's actually the 50, the Money Team Racing. Here comes Robertson back up to the top side. He's going to have help from Joey Maines as these top 2 start to get a little bit squirrely. Joey Maines goes down to the bottom, trying to slide back up He's going to get himself up into fourth, make contact with Bob Wyckoff, and of course, there's no help. He's going to be stuck to the top of 3 wide.
If Maines needs to make moves, he needs to win this race. Charles Robertson down to the bottom. There's wrecking behind here on the white flag lap. Contact between the 78 and the 20 as both of those drivers have no idea where they are with the 20 lagging. There he goes, taking out the 42, coming to the line. Alexander Arilton tries to get the run, as does Bob Wyckoff, but it's going to be Cody McCorkle winning the Big Peach 200. First win here at 30 starts.
Cody McCorkle, the Stanley, North Carolina driver, he played the strategy, and I think it played into his hands.
Bob Wyckoff comes home in second. Alexander Arilson trying to make that move, trying to make that last-ditch effort move for the win, comes home in third. Michael Iskander, a great finish, finishing in fourth. We'll wait and see what the playoffs look like, but right now, Cody McCorkle takes the win here in his 30th start in the series. And we will be with him in just a moment. Liam, I believe you are with him now.
Hey, McCorkle, what a drive here at the end. We're going to watch you burn it down here on screen. Fantastic job keeping these guys behind you. What was going through your mind as these last couple of laps were playing out?
I mean, honestly, I didn't think I'd be able to hold them off. There at the end, I thought, they were lining up. Someone was going to pull out and go around me right there at the end.
For that last caution, we saw you make a real strong run on the inside. You had some help there from the 99 and the 14. What more do you think you guys would have needed down there? Or was it just a matter of getting up to that top side?
Yeah, I mean, I think the 24 had the top going. I don't whatever they were doing was working. Sucks to see him. I don't know if he got spun or wrecked or what happened there, but it sucks for him. I didn't think I'd be able to do it on the bottom. It seemed like they had it going so good on top. Just kind of got some good luck there.
And once things got single filed there at the end, did you have any sort of concern that they were going to be able to double up on you? Or
yeah, I mean, that's kind of. I was sitting there. I was like, man, I don't know what they're going to do. Hopefully, I don't think they were working together or not. So I think that helped me a little bit. They kind of, I don't know. I guess at the end they got side by side. That was good.
you ran a phenomenal race. Before we let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to for such a strong run?
Shout out to my teammates, Brian and Charles. Helped me all night. Good run. Not so good for them at the end, but hopefully they'll make it through to the next round. Wait for the points to get updated here.
Matt, we appreciate you joining us. Congratulations on a heck of a victory. I believe it's your first one here in the iSNF series. So congratulations on that. Here's to many more.
Thank you.
With that, we'll now go to our second place finisher here tonight, Bob Wyckoff. And Bob, it's 106 starts now without a win, but boy, you came close here tonight. Just your fifth top 10 here in this series. Great job.
Yeah, I really tried to pull it out. I was wanting to follow Alex through and see if he would take a jump out, and I would follow him with my teammate. But he did very well, and I think he let me up a little bit so I could pass him and get second place. So thanks, Alex.
This looked like one heck of a difficult race to be a part of here tonight. Just how much different is this racetrack for the viewers at home compared to Daytona and Talladega? How much harder is it to draft around here?
Oh, there's a lot of bump drafting, and early in the race I got bumped out by Danny, dropped down low, and almost got lapped. So it is very difficult to hold your throttle and throttle through with the corners when you're so close to each other.
We go to Auto Club next week, the first race in the round of 8. Came very close to playing spoiler here tonight. What are your thoughts going into Auto Club?
Really, I just have fun racing. I really like doing it. I do this one day a week on Saturday, and it's really nice to be able to run with these guys. They do such a great job keeping the lines, helping you out. So I just thank everyone for the clean racing that we do.
All right, anyone else you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
I mean, the league admins do a wonderful job. They take a lot of punishment, but they do a wonderful job, and they put this thing together for us. So I really appreciate everyone that does that.
All right, there he is, your second place finisher tonight, Bob Wyckoff. Bud, congratulations. And now we'll go to our third place finisher here tonight, Alexander Arilson. Alex, you were able to point your way in just by taking the green flag here tonight. So did that take a little bit of the pressure off of you?
I did. I didn't actually know that, but that's good. Well, I still raced as if I had to get a result, even though I took it a bit easy in the first 2 stages, and then I raced out at the end.
We saw you and a couple of the other drivers really taking a liking to that middle lane. What is it about this middle lane here that makes it so dominant?
I'm not sure, to be honest, but as you say, the middle lane or middle to top seemed to be quite dominant, to be honest. We got good run off turn 2 all the way down the straightaway, or the back straight, I should say, and I think that was the difference, I think.
We go to Auto Club next week, first race in the round of 8. You're going to be one of the leaders going into it. What are your thoughts going into not just Auto Club, but this next round, which includes Talladega as well?
Yeah, I think it's going to be important to get a solid points finish at Auto Club. I mean, I've got quite a lot of stage points, or playoff points, I should say. So if I can get a decent result there, I think I should be able to race at Talladega without worrying about making it to the next round.
All right. Anyone else you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, big shout out to my Alliance teammate Bob Wyckoff for getting that second place today. I mean, he's been grinding it out all season and improving all the time, and it's great to see him getting a good result.
All right, your third place finisher tonight here, Alexander Arilson. Bud, congratulations.
Thank you.
And that will pretty much do it for us here tonight, Alan. What a fantastic race we saw here this evening.
Yeah, absolutely, Frank. I'm just kind of surprised that two teammates kind of bailed on each other there at the end of on the last lap. But I mean, it's every man for himself. What are you gonna do?
Especially when one of those teammates is looking for their very first win in over 100 starts. Certainly want to help out the teammate, but you also got to look at yourself as well. As we'll take a look here at the results for tonight's race, Cody McCorkle takes the victory here tonight. Bob Wyckoff, Alexander Arilson, Michael Iskander, and Joey Burgee round out the top 5. Daniel Solo, Gary May, Jonas Skoglund, Charles Robertson, and Joey Maines coming home in the top 10. Marcus Hagman, Jeff Weimer, Isaac Wilson, Jared McCauley, Robert Rowe down to 15th. Franz Bretschneider, Angel Hernandez, Brian Chu, Christian Delgado, and Nathan Christensen to 20th. Chris Smith, Dominik Sawicki, Drew Hullman, Justin Barkley, and Brandon Hughes to 25th. Rhea Ferris, Casey Tomlinson, Chris Van Maastricht, Daniel Holmer, and William Britton down to 30th. Rosa Laszlo, James Bowles, Linus Brostrom, Matt Metler, and Michael Gervey rounding out the field here tonight at Atlanta. So that will do it for us here tonight from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. For my broadcast partners, Liam Irving and Alan Bergen, I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening, and we will see you all next week from the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California, where we begin the round of 8 here in this fight for the championship. Good night, everybody, and remember, as always, as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.